Good evening, good afternoon. Today we're going to be reacting to another one. This one from Sunny V2, how OnlyJayus became TikTok's most hated creator. So I know she's got a lot of controversy. I don't know all the details behind it. I heard a couple of her takes on TikTok. Might have heard like one of her podcasts, but let's go ahead and see what they got for us and see what happened.
And I am so ashamed of myself for using racist rhetoric, and I am so sorry to everyone, but especially to those in the black community, because only you guys can forgive me for this.
One of the worst I've ever seen. She definitely took notes from the other crappy ones, is how a YouTube comment described OnlyJayus' public apology following just one of her numerous different TikTok controversies.
What is going on with you white saviors that keep trying to defend Jayus for saying N-word lover, bro? You must say it too.
This is what makes OnlyJayus' story unique. Despite having incredibly uncontroversial content.
If you're at a house party and you got a drink in your hand, don't hold it up here by your chest. Try to hold it more down towards your hip. This will make you seem more open and confident, and people will be more willing to come up and talk to you.
She's found herself in a big scandal on the political TikTok battlefield every couple of months for the last 3 years.
What did I
miss? At this point, people of color should not be following OnlyJayus.
Why is OnlyJayus more prone to getting involved in these types of controversies? Is it something to do with how she responds to those critical of her?
I barely text my family back, and I just had to move apartments because my address got leaked, and you're gonna throw a fit because I didn't make you my priority?
After a petition to ban OnlyJayus from TikTok garnered over 400,000 signatures, it'd be safe to say that she's a contender for the platform's most hated creator. And while such a title seems unfair without any further information or knowledge, as we go through explaining how this hatred came to be, the reason for this title will become blatantly obvious, and it all began with a tweet made by OnlyJayus on the 9th of April 2020, just 12 months after she began posting videos to the website. I constantly feel like nobody actually likes me, so when I see thousands of hate comments saying, yeah, I never liked OnlyJayus, she's so annoying, Jayus seems like a horrible person, that pushed me to the edge. The harsh and possibly even backwards
I don't know enough about her to
is that those who acknowledge and
disagree
complain
with
about
any of
hate
those.
only end up receiving more hate. In the beginning, OnlyJayus likely received a pretty standard amount of negative feedback, owing to maybe a slightly annoying delivery as she mentioned in her tweet. The problem that OnlyJayus had was that she really struggled to ignore criticism, and always seemed to give way too much attention to any situation in which there was some kind of negative sentiment against her name. It's going to be a running theme throughout this whole video. It started with her simple inability to ignore basic negative comments, such as, yeah, I never liked OnlyJayus, which is a pretty tame comment, giving her a foundational reputation as someone who would crack if you simply applied enough pressure. 3 months later, this reputation as a creator who would respond to negative criticism would continue after OnlyJayus discovered that another creator by the name of the Jonathan Moss had been copying some of her videos word for word.
Did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on who you are as a person and the things that could possibly happen to you?
Yo, did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on you and the things that can happen to you in your life?
People born in March are way more likely to have asthma, and I can actually speak to this one because my little sister, the only one born in March, has asthma.
People born in March are actually
my sister,
more likely
my
to
sister
have
was actually born in
asthma.
March,
and
she had asthma growing
the only
up.
person born in March has asthma.
OnlyJayus would respond to the copied videos in a tweet reading, TikTok creators should be called out when they copy other TikTok creators' videos word for word, alongside a video
that is
the Jonathan Moss directly.
a
Jonathan
little
responded by stating
questionable.
that he'd simply found the information on Google, and as a result, OnlyJayus was berated and mocked by her audience, with them stating that she was in the wrong for copying the information from Google. This information is from a website. Why are you copying a copier? Copied from Google, then complains when others do the same. Which Business Insider article is this from? There was clearly a bit of an injustice being done here. To state that her information was invalid because it was found on Google has got to be one of the dumbest arguments ever made. What did they expect her to do? Find some old 1850s foundational manuscript covered in dust at the National Library and take her facts from there? Jonathan Moss had clearly copied her videos word for word after OnlyJayus had posted them originally, meaning there was no doubt about who copied who. However,
how many were
OnlyJayus
there
was
that
still
she
painted as being in the
posted
wrong for one
that he
simple
posted
reason.
after
They
she
knew they could
posted
get a
them?
reaction out of her if they simply applied
And
enough
we're
pressure,
copying
which
word
they
for word.
eventually would. After receiving hundreds
Like,
of negative
was it
comments
like
on
a
her response,
one-time
OnlyJayus would
thing,
take to
or
Reddit
did it happen
stating, he said
like
that he
over
found
and
it on
over and
Google,
over
which I
again?
mean he did, but only after watching my video. I'm now getting a huge amount of hate. People saying I'm lying. I copied
That's the
Google
biggest
too.
question,
I'm
like,
problematic. I should be cancelled.
was that the
etc.
only time
I
it
have a hard
happened?
time dealing
Or
with
did it happen a
negativity. I still don't know what
Was
to
it like
do.
a
I don't
common
think I've
thing?
done anything wrong. Maybe you do, but honestly, I don't see it.
Because like if you've made 50
Now, you probably wouldn't go
videos
so
and all
far as to say
50
that
were word for
OnlyJayus was
word
playing
copies
the
of her
victim, but she was
videos,
once again complaining
and
about
each
the
one you
circumstances
posted
that
after she
found
had already
selfish.
posted
And to
them,
reiterate the point
then
from
that's a little
earlier,
messed up
complaining
because
about
you're
hate
literally
doesn't
just
make it
stealing
go
her
away,
content.
but rather amplifies it, as the audience will look for
You're
increasingly
not adding
petty
to
things to
it,
berate
like,
you for.
you're
With
literally
this in
just
mind, it's barely surprising to find out that
taking
approximately
it.
6 months later, an old message will be dug up in which OnlyJayus had said the N-word, taking center stage as her brand new colossal-sized controversy.
I love you no matter your sex, your gender, your sexuality, your faith, or your race.
Guess that didn't age well, cause this you at the bottom calling someone the hard ER, a word used to oppress black people. That's why I don't trust people with savior complexes, bro. I feel like it's always a second agenda behind what you do. If you say it's 2 to 3 years old, you were 20 years old when you said it. The other day, Addison was canceled for old BLM tweets from 2016. Let's see if everyone keeps the same energy. You're a role model to 10 million people, bro. I hope things get better, and I hope you educate.
There
Yeah,
were a
that's a
couple of
line that
comments
you
in
just-
support of
you can't
OnlyJayus,
cross.
however, as a whole, and understandably, the response was mostly negative. All these white people saying, it happened 4 years ago. Literally, it doesn't matter. She did it and needs to take responsibility. The hard ER, she's done. And at OnlyJayus, you got caught in 4K. The best way that JS could have responded to this expose
really,
would have either been no
4 years
response at
ago
all, or a
isn't
short,
that
cool,
long,
calm, collected,
and what is she,
unemotional
early
post or video.
20s?
Alternatively, she could have thrown a real curveball and simply said, I'm not sorry, which would have actually been respectable, as it's 100 times harder than simply getting
like by that time you're already
blurting
like
out some pre-written stupid
16
goals
plus,
suppressing the
like
criticism
16
in the
plus, you
short
should know
term.
better.
However, with a track record
Like, you
like
can't blame that on,
OnlyJayus,
like,
obviously she did none of these, and rather posted a long,
anything,
emotionally
really.
charged,
You just have
scripted,
to know
generic
better.
social media apology, which felt as though it was designed to trick the audience into coming away with a specific feeling, as is usually the case with these types of public apologies.
And there is no excuse, and there are no justifications for what I said, and you guys deserve better. And when I first saw the screenshots, I didn't even think that they were real, because I forgot how hateful and how angry of a person I used to be.
Another YouTuber slash TikToker by the name of Papa Gut, who spoke to JS on the phone prior to the apology, thought that the intentions were sincere and that the apology was simply delivered poorly.
I actually had a conversation, a private phone call conversation with JS about this situation. She seemed pretty sincere about how sorry she was. Again, like I said, I thought she was being genuine. What she produced was rough. It was less than stellar.
Others such as Freak the Gemini were less optimistic.
You literally hit us with a Playboy Cardi album. All that suspense just for it to be trash. The worst insult you could tell somebody was liking black people. Wow.
With the scandal being shared across every platform imaginable, OnlyJayus would also lose all of her sponsors, as well as a Netflix podcast she'd been hosting by the name of Know It All. At Tinder, this is what your walking ad is saying. She has a Netflix podcast. Everyone needs to tag at Netflix.
Netflix has cut ties with JS. Big dubs.
OnlyJayus was clearly feeling the pressure, and understandably wanted to make things right with her audience. So she'd end the apology by stating that she wanted to
Share my platform with some amazing black creators who are going to tell their story to try and educate others on the trauma that happens when we use this kind of language.
which would eventually result in her and another African-American content creator by the name of Aunt Karen agreeing to collaborate on OnlyJayus' channel. In addition to this, 2 weeks after the apology, OnlyJayus would go to the effort of posting a video talking about how she had read a book on anti-racism.
The first book that I decided to pick up was How to Be Anti-Racist by Dr. Ibram Kendi, and this will push readers that think that they're not racist into being something better.
To her credit, she did acknowledge that it was a grift in the title, stating, I know it might come off as performative, talking about this at the end of Black History Month, but I'm trying to just educate myself and use my platform for good. However, her audience wasn't buying any of the lies. I bet after this video she just tossed the book like it's nothing. That seems like an amazing book for you.
Yeah, so you, like, it really all depends there, like, that's hard, I don't know, that's hard.
I think you missed some pages. Maybe you missed a few chapters, read it again. But hey, at
Wait,
least she was
did
still
she
in the
actually
process of
read
sharing her
it?
platform with some other black content creators as she promised, right?
I mean, that-
Well, no.
So this message is for you, OnlyJayus, after your whole N-word debacle. Said you want to collaborate with me. We email, and suddenly you've dropped off the face of the earth. Are black people just tokens for you to use when you're ready to play? If you were really truly sorry about what you said, you would not have lied and said you were going to do something you clearly aren't trying to do.
The TikTok essentially outlined that after agreeing to collaborate, OnlyJayus would ghost this creator by the name of Aunt Karen once everyone had forgotten about the drama. Now, to OnlyJayus' credit, Aunt Karen's callout was even more pathetic than JS's original apology, because setting up a collaboration with another creator can be incredibly difficult. There's always problems relating to difference in content style, difference in schedule, difference in time zones, the problem of coming up with a video idea that will be a hit with both audiences, what part of the script do I allocate to the other person, etc, etc. Yet, Aunt Karen's argument in the callout was, because OnlyJayus ghosted me, she's therefore a racist.
Why not just be racist? Just say you're racist.
Now, maybe there was some racism involved in the decision, who knows? But it's still a lazy, low-hanging fruit argument designed to create drama out of the highly likely reality, being that collaborations are just incredibly difficult to set up successfully. In
So, like,
addition to
calling
this,
her
a
out,
feature
I
on
feel like it's
OnlyJayus' page with over
correct,
10 million
but
followers is going to cost a brand probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, and despite OnlyJayus offering one of these spots to Aunt Karen for free, Aunt Karen still seemed to narcissistically think that she was the one providing OnlyJayus with the opportunity.
I really gave you an opportunity. I really said, you know what, Aunt Karen? Let's see what she has to say. Let's see how we can mutually help each other.
Aunt Karen's callout was entitled and poorly thought out, but not invalid for one simple reason. OnlyJayus made a promise. There are obviously exceptions, but most of the time, if you say you're going to do something publicly, you have to follow through with it or people are going to notice. Jayus would initially discuss the ghosting in an Instagram voice message.
So I am sorry for basically ghosting you. I didn't mean to do that. I just have a very chaotic schedule and ADHD on top of that, so I genuinely just forgot. It wasn't me trying to ignore you. You could have just hit me up again, but instead you decided to go public and try to add public pressure onto me, and that's not cool, so I don't want to collaborate.
Which will once again receive a response from Aunt Karen, explaining that she had emailed OnlyJayus multiple times with no reply.
You're gonna put it on me? In your voicemail, you said I should have emailed you again? April 4th, I emailed you. How many times do you expect me to message you, waiting on you to continuously ghost me?
Now, OnlyJayus probably could have left it at that, and the drama would have been over within 4 weeks. However, as Papa Gut said most accurately,
for whatever reason, JS doesn't know how to just stop. Like, when somebody criticizes JS responds, and that's the worst thing.
And in classic OnlyJayus fashion, she'd post another emotionally charged response to the drama.
Today's episode of What Are People Mad at Me For Now? Not checking my emails in a timely manner. I wish I was joking. Forgot to respond to an email from this creator that wanted to collab with me, and you know, instead of just like hitting me up again, they made 7 videos about it. Can you please leave me the f alone? I have a diagnosed neurological disorder that makes me forget things and procrastinate due to time blindness. I forget to eat for days. I procrastinate sleep.
We mentioned earlier that the more attention OnlyJayus gave to each of these scandals, the more she'd be held accountable for increasingly petty incidents. Well, after this explosive response, the things that her audience would call her out on were taken to the absolute extreme. For example, she
never
would
should
post
have
this
posted
video.
that.
You can get your letters delivered for free without any postage if you just put where you want it to go on the return address instead of where it's actually supposed to be.
Which would get the post office activists involved with comments such as, yes, please encourage people to do activities that cause the already failing post office to lose more money. Or when she posts this video saying nothing more than what degree she did.
So I got my college degrees in math and computer science, which means that I was never really good at writing.
To receive comments such as, I thought you would have majored in saying slur sciences. However, it eventually got to the point where OnlyJayus couldn't even make jokes anymore without being cancelled. Seriously. On the 23rd of May 2021, OnlyJayus would post the following video.
If a service dog ever approaches you but they're alone, that means that their owner's in trouble and they probably can't move, so you should follow him, because you'll get a free wallet.
It was clearly a light-hearted joke, summed up in comments such as, she probably said the wallet thing to lighten the mood of something bad. Obviously she wouldn't take a wallet and probably knew that most people would. Bro, do people get this as a joke? Y'all are so sensitive. However, the rest of her audience simply saw yet another opportunity to put OnlyJayus through
like,
another period of
like,
hardship.
if you can't
believe this is still up.
I mean,
It's
this is definitely a
obviously
joke.
But some people may still do it. It could start a trend. What you post on the internet reaches so many people, and some of those people may be inconsiderate or apathetic towards others and do something wrong as a joke that highly affects another person. Take some YouTube and TikTok prank channels for example.
When is it going to be enough to say OnlyJayus is not a good creator, should not be followed, and should not be listened to? My child, they are a service dog user. This is not a kind of joke you want to be putting out there. It's not funny to anybody who uses a service dog.
With all this in mind, the petition with over 400,000
that's a fair way to look
signatures
at
have
it.
OnlyJayus banned is
That's
barely
fair.
a surprise. She dug herself into a hole control by displaying an inability to switch off from the audience after being involved in scandal after scandal after scandal. Sometimes criticism from the audience is genuine and can be spotted easily because it's worded in a constructive way, but a lot of the time, without them even realizing it, people write mean or critical things just to see if you're the type of person to crack, respond, or apologize, as has been the case throughout OnlyJayus' entire TikTok career. She's been tested over and
Let
over
it go.
and over. It has been unable
Let
to
it
switch off and
go.
let things go whenever she's been put under pressure. As an end result, there's not only a loss of respect, but also a never-ending freight train of negativity and hatred.
That was interesting. Is her hate fair? Does she deserve it? Probably a large majority of it. And she pours gasoline on her own fire. So, I mean, there's that. But, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought.